So on the fake electors thing, it's interesting to me that right-wingers always know that Trump said peacefully and patriotically at one point out of a 1 hour long speech, right? It's interesting to me. But they don't know who John Eastman is, a guy who literally gave a speech during the same event and also was instrumental in concocting the fake elector scheme.
And to be clear, said, I implore you to consider one more relatively minor violation of the ECA. Eastman said this plan would break the law. That's the whole point of it.
Exactly. If it's been an insurrection, give me proof that there's...
Wait, stop. No, don't go down this road. Do you acknowledge that Eastman acknowledged that his plan would violate the ECA?
Not one court.
Wait, stop. No,
answer Nonfon's question. Well, Glenn.
Right. It was never classified or ruled as an insurrection by any judge.
Just real quick, I had this quote from the ruling. This is the ruling, that the district court did not err in concluding that those events constituted an insurrection and that the former president engaged in that insurrection. That is a direct quote from the ruling, Trump v. Anderson of the Colorado Supreme Court.
Why are you lying? Why are you lying?
I am not lying. I'm also reading what the Supreme Court said.
I just want the concession from Glenn that the Colorado Supreme Court ruled that this was an insurrection.
Yeah, all I'm going to say, I'm sticking to what I said, is that they made an opinion. That was it. That was their opinion. They didn't make a ruling.
What do you think the court says? If you enjoy this video, please like and subscribe to help with the algorithm, and consider sending a donation through YouTube Super Thanks to directly support the channel, and I'll make sure to reply.
You said Kamala called Trump literally Hitler, so to my knowledge, she never did that. If you're gonna cite her calling him a fascist, Trump did that way more. So when did she ever say that?
Yeah, she didn't call him Hitler. She said he wanted, Hitler-like loyalty. I believe that's what. Oh yeah,
she was citing a general.
Yeah, his own general said that. Just
uttering someone else's comments on him. But if we're talking about rhetoric, whose rhetoric has led to a few assassination attempts? Anybody?
Okay, so we had someone shooting at Trump who was a registered Republican. I mean, we have no idea. Like, I don't know why you just say it was led by Kamala's rhetoric. Wait. Just one second. I'm answering your question. Yeah. So we have no evidence that it was caused by the Democrats. We just have none of that. The guy who actually got to shoot him, he was a registered Republican, and before he shot at Trump, he looked up Democratic rallies or meetups. So that's he was probably just a schizo trying to kill people. Either way, it's a country of 330 million people. Some of them are going to be schizos. You cannot just blame Kamala for that. That's going to be the first thing. Second thing, on the Hitler point, because she cited his own general. I mean, Trump called Biden the Gestapo without even citing any general. I mean, that's a direct reference to Hitler without citing anyone. That's like him calling Biden like Hitler. So, I mean, you don't care about that.
So you're literally saying that you don't think that the rhetoric that was coming out from the left played any factor into any one of these assassination attempts?
I think it was little to none. Yeah. I think it was little to none. I think little to none. You cannot prove that it was. So yeah.
I never said we could prove that it was. I'm just asking you, saying that words from other people do not contribute into motivating other individuals to action. Great.
I think they can, but I think they don't in the context of politics right now, because for example, we have Trump literally calling Biden the Gestapo and a fascist, and I don't know of any assassination attempts at Biden that were anything near successful. So it seems like when politicians say unhinged shit about the other side, it doesn't really seem to motivate on the large scale assassination attempts.
I'm curious. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, because I just confirmed that. Yeah, Kamala hasn't directly called him Hitler. She has called him a fascist numerous times, stuff like that.
And he called Kamala a fascist, communist, Marxist, socialist. So he did that way more than Kamala. Kamala called him a fascist once or twice, or I guess she's going to do it more from now from the CNN town hall. Trump's been calling her a fascist for months now. You don't care about that, though. You don't give a fuck, right?
To be fair, there is a quote where during a town hall she did say he wants a military he will not be named. So she did name drop him that time, but I do want to say
Trump said that.
No, I'm saying I still. No, wait. In
the town hall, she called him a fascist. But that's the first instance that I know of Kamala or Biden calling Trump a fascist. Meanwhile, Trump has been calling Kamala and Biden fascist and Hitler for months. But again, I'm going to ask the other Republicans here. You never give a fuck about that, right? You don't even care. If anything, you support it, right? Look, you don't give a fuck about that when he called her a fascist and like he called Biden the Gestapo. You don't give a fuck, right?
Well, like they were going after him in terms of lawfare.
Oh, so
let me tell you.
justified. Yeah, you don't give a fuck.
Let me jump in because I think this whole point's dumb because I think we all probably agree. I bet even if I ask these questions, would you not say there's probably more violent rhetoric coming out of the right than the left? Eric and Glenn Lawrence?
No, I think it's gotten nasty on both sides. But I mean,
really, you think they're equal on both sides?
Well, like Glenn pointed out, it's like there's shots being fired at Trump. I haven't seen any shots fired at any Democrats, but in terms of like the
do you want me to give you some quotes from people on the right?
Do we agree Obama had multiple failed assassination attempts on him?
Obama
or
did.
Like there were some, but yeah. Also, we had January 6th, right? Like there was a pipe bomb like 20 feet away from Kamala.
Oh, that is true. Yeah.
Right.
They were chanting "Hang Mike Pence."
Either, right?
Like
again, you don't give a fuck. You never give a fuck. Just again, just say it, like own it.
Making jokes about the Pelosi attacks,
Or again, when he was running against Hillary, when he was running against Hillary, so a couple things.
Thank you for
when he was running against Hillary, he said like, "Oh, she's going to take away your Second Amendment rights."
Whoever
There's nothing you can do
whatever.
about it. Okay, wait. When he was running against Hillary, he said, she's going to take away your Second Amendment rights. There's nothing you can do about it. Well, I guess the Second Amendment people can do something about it. So that's like a call for the death. If we want to go to Elon Musk recently called for oh, interesting how no one is trying to assassinate Kamala, then deleted the tweet. But he still has a tweet that's up to this day. He tweeted it in July, where he says the people who vote against, the people who oppose the bill he likes are traitors. And you know what needs to happen to traitors. So that's also a call to violence from the right. No one gave a fuck about that. So again, I'm just saying, like, the right always does this. It's their modus operandi, and the right either doesn't care or supports it, evidenced by the two people here never mentioning it or justifying it.
But again, I haven't denied. I said, did I not, that both sides it's been nasty?
Okay. Can I find you ever calling out Trump for that? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like, I've had a pretty short streaming career, but like I said, if you can take the quote that I just said, that both sides have been nasty.
Good. That's good.
Have Democrats ever violently delayed the certification of the vote?
Well, Chaz or Chop, that was the left wing.
That was not the
BLM burnt half the country
he said
that's
vote.
not what I asked.
How do they stop the voting process then? In Chaz.
When
also, that was not like officially sanctioned by the Democrats.
And
like,
wait a sec, wasn't it in Tennessee? Because again, I'm Irish, so you got to give me some sort of leniency.
I think it was in Seattle. I think Chaz was.
You know what I'm saying?
Chaz was in Seattle.
What about when they stopped? Was it Tennessee? The legislator in Tennessee.
Wait,
not something to do with that.
I don't know about that. I mean, but we had Republicans trying to kidnap Gretchen. I'm sorry, Klobuchar or Whitmer? I think
Whitmer. Yeah, the Whitmer plot. Yep.
Yeah. But either way, we were not asking about that. We were asking about stopping or delaying the certification of the vote. But also, just to be clear, I mean, if you want to say that it's justified for Trump to call Kamala a fascist because she's been going after him, first of all, that's not been true. There was no communication between that. Like, Biden did not direct the DOJ, and he multiple times said he doesn't want to play a hand in it. Otherwise, you have to think that he's commanding them to persecute his own son, Hunter Biden, who was convicted under Biden. So that doesn't make sense, that narrative. Second of all, Trump is the guy running on lock her up. And again, conservatives loved it. They never gave a fuck.
Did she not commit crimes?
Did Biden not directly say to lock him up?
Did Hillary not commit crimes?
She was investigated, and the FBI said they couldn't prove it.
I'm asking, like, did she not commit?
One at a time, y'all.
None that the FBI recommended charges for.
I'm asking if she was convicted. I asked, did she not?
Answer the question, Sample.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so the whole server thing was not committing a crime.
Well, the FBI investigated that, right?
No. Nope. Yeah, again, they never recommended charges on that.
Get convicced. I said,
do you think an investigation is a conviction? You realize the difference between those two things, right?
Wait. She never. I never said convicted. I never said. Wait. I never said convicted. Yeah, I never said convicted. They never recommended charges. Wait. Okay.
No, if you could still get away with committing a crime by still committing a crime. I asked, did she commit a crime according to the
That's why we need to
statute, what it is.
investigate. Yeah. So if you want to cite something, hopefully it would be really good for my case if we had an investigation into the very thing you're citing, which recommended no charges, right? That'd be evidence in my position. Luckily, we have that.
Yeah, so I just linked an article there for Tennessee. It was Tennessee House where the Democrats stormed it during a procession or whatever the fuck you call it. And they delayed a vote going through. So is that an insurrection?
I don't know about that
a
case.
vote going
but if-
through, or the certification of like their votes.
Wait, no, Nonfon, your mic is like fucked up.
Oh,
It has no
shit.
ears. But I'm just saying, like,
You sound okay to
I don't
me.
know about that. Oh my god, no, it's not. Look, I don't
What's
know
wrong
about
with
that. Am I the only one who?
I think it's just you. I think you sound okay.
Oh yeah, I think I'm the only one. Yeah, let me try to leave and rejoin if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. Nonfon, you want to continue that line of question? I'm reading about this article you linked.
Well, yeah, what did they stop? Like what Republicans stopped
Yeah, it was when they
was an official
they voted to
proceeding the
expel
government to
two of the three
certify the.
Democratic members that led the. It was like I said, it was a while back, maybe a couple of years, but they basically like disrupted parliamentary hearings essentially, or the parliamentary fucking.
What was violent about this? I'm not seeing any connections there. I'm saying
Yeah,
this
also
was
like they were.
go ahead.
It was the main premise came up. It's like, well, they were halting government proceedings. So is this like, would you classify this as an insurrection?
I would have to know more. I'd have to know, is it pre-planned? Like, because January 6th was pre-planned, right?
Two out of the three got expelled.
Well, because they were voting on whether or not to expel these members of Congress, right?
Wait, expelled. They were voted out. They were just they held a vote and they voted not to keep them. This is not a violent insurrection. They literally held a vote and they're like, yeah, you were voted out.
No. The vote came afterwards. So basically, like, they led this whole kind of raucous. They stormed the government building.
Wait, I'll give you some direct quotes here. So just off the top, to give you a generalization of what happened. This is not an insurrection, but rather a controversial expulsion of two Democratic lawmakers from Tennessee House of Representatives following their participation in a gun reform protest. What I want to highlight here is the expulsion required a 2/3 majority vote. So they were voted out. This is not like a violent.
Was this proceeding delayed?
I
don't even
why
see
this
any.
went to a vote is because Republicans were saying, well, this is technically insurrection if you were doing the same thing as J6.
So no, what happened was the community didn't like what the representatives were doing, and they decided, oh wow, we don't like this happening. Let's not vote to keep these people in power.
I don't think you understand.
I'm only seeing. Maybe explain to me, because I'm only seeing a democratic procedure taking place right here.
Yeah, so this is the vote that happened afterwards, but these three members led a quote unquote insurrection to basically interfere with government proceedings.
No, it seems like they led a protest on a floor with guns, and then they were expelled for it. That's all there is. But look. If they did do an insurrection, I would say that's bad, and I would never want them as president. Kamala has nothing to do with that.
Well,
so
I'm asking you, does that meet your definition of insurrection?
I don't know enough about that case. I said if it does meet my definition of insurrection, or if it happens as you described it, which I'm skeptical of, but if it did, then I would call it an insurrection, and I would never want these people as president. You do want people as president who did insurrections, though. That's the difference between you and me.
But this is where we run into where I wouldn't classify this as an insurrection. But
January 6th? January 6th?
Yeah, I wouldn't classify that as an insurrection.
Okay. Okay, well, we can argue on the facts of January 6th if you want. Isn't this an econ debate?
Whatever. Let me clarify, Terry. Are you okay with the results where these Democrats got lost their office because of what they did? Are you happy with that result?
I'm just trying to add context because it was brought up.
No,
I think
I'm trying to answer my question because I'm trying to. So you brought this up. Are you pro or against those people losing their seat because of what they did.
I'm indifferent. I'm indifferent to the situation. I just want to know where you lie in terms of like the definition of insurrection, because Nonfon.
You don't care either way
January 6th
about the results of what happened. I'm happy to go into the insurrection question. I'll answer your question. You can answer mine.
Yeah, I personally think that we need to get back to a situation where it's not you're an insurrection or you're insurrection, because if we're saying that this is insurrection, then we have to apply the same standard across the board.
Oh, I
like
do.
I said,
I do.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I
don't want these people as president. Luckily, Kamala was nothing. Yeah, no. I'm consistent. To be clear, me, Nonfon, and the other guy are consistent. If this was an insurrection, we don't want these people in office. But the difference is, you do want someone who led an insurrection in office.
No, because again, like I said, this doesn't meet my criteria of an insurrection.
Do you think Trump should have had any consequence whatsoever politically for his actions on January 6th, or lack of action?
For saying peacefully and patriotically, march to the Capitol building.
Awesome. Nonfon, do you want to comment on that?
In a second, but I'm not even. Hold on, I'm reading this article. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, Trump saying peacefully and patriotically doesn't preclude that he incited anything. And, like, I mean, he was calling for protest on January 6th since December 19th, 3 days after he had a meeting with Kenneth Chesebro and Jim Troopers, who described January 6th to him as the real deadline for overturning the election. And then Jim Troopers and Kenneth Chesebro texted each other and said, wow, based on our meeting 3 days ago, I think we have a unique understanding of this. So, like, clearly, that's what they wanted to happen. They wanted the certification to vote to be delayed. And, like, all the internal communications suggest this. Like,
Yeah, so then that's why I brought up this case. Is like, are you saying that any time a government proceeding is interrupted, that classifies as an insurrection?
It would have to be a pre-planned assemblage of people with using force or so much people to supersede, like the use of the force to delay a official government proceeding.
Do you really think that much Republicans are going to get together to stop the vote? And not bring a single weapon with them? Like there was no.
Well, they did bring weapons. They did bring weapons.
Yeah, bro. There was a pipe bomb 20 feet away from Kamala. You don't give a fuck. Stop lying.
So wait a minute. So what about the Capitol building being occupied in Madison, and Nancy Pelosi was like praising the occupiers for an impressive show of democracy in action. That's her tweet.
Did anyone? Did anyone?
Capitol as she continued to stand in solidarity with them. You know, this is during like the union activists, right?
Look. Here's the question. Here's the question.
2 seconds. I'm gonna cut off both because I'll let you guys respond to that. But I just want there's some misinformation here. There definitely was weapons found on January 6th, multiple. There's people with handguns, AR-15s, other stuff like knives, and even people like
I could bring somebody on that's actually. Have you spoke to somebody that was there at Gen 6? Because I could bring somebody on right now that was there at Gen 6. And he could tell you.
I don't want to talk to traitors. I'm good.
I don't know what the point of that would be.
I'm just saying the statement that there was no one there with weapons, that's false.
Yeah, and I could tell you that the guy that was there that I know, he said, yeah, there were people with guns there. And yeah, they were like they were just among the crowd. And then when things started popping off, then they start pulling out stuff and they were causing a ruckus. So
also, intimidation can be easily a way to do an insurrection.
There was some groups that were there, for bad acting, but the majority of the people were not there.
Oh no, I agree with that. But look. When we say so, first of all, intimidation can be another way of leading an insurrection. You don't necessarily need the violence there, but also there was violence on January 6th. Again, I'm going to cite there was.
Okay, so then what are you? Do you have any problems?
There was a pipe bomb 20 feet away. There was a pipe bomb 20 feet away from Kamala Harris when she was evacuated. Again, I've seen no Republican ever condemn or talk about this, but. I mean, when we talk about January 6th,
was there? Did anybody know that they put the pipe bomb right next to it?
The person who laid it there. Yeah, the person who laid it there.
I don't know who that person
the person who put it there.
I don't
well, none of us know.
Okay, presumably they don't like the politicians. Wait. I want to finish what I said, though. I want to finish my sentence, though. We let you finish. I want to finish. Yeah, we let you finish. It's kind of not nice.
To be fair, Sample, you've been talking a lot and Glenn is not, so I do want to give him a chance to respond, but Sample, finish your point of question.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So I'm just saying, January 6th is not just the crowd of people there, not just the people who were chanting Mike Pence. It's also Trump's actions preceding January 6th when they concocted a scheme to submit fake electors to Pence in order for him to accept them and to thus delay or overturn the results of the election. And you don't need to trust my word for it. You can hear it from the horse's mouth. Mike Pence himself says it. He says it openly, and he's a guy you voted for twice. So yeah, it's like we know this. That's it.
Glenn and so, Sample, I think it was some good points, but I'm gonna start placing you a little bit more just because I don't think it's on purpose, but you're taking a little bit of the audio bandwidth. So I want to make sure they get a chance to respond as well.
So my question is, your issue with this so-called insurrection, but do you have a problem with what happened in Madison when, the left wing, mobbed the Capitol in Madison, right? And Nancy Pelosi is praising the occupiers for an impressive show of democracy in action. Her quote, that's her tweet, as they assaulted the Capitol, and she still continued to stand in solidarity with those union activists. But that's okay. That insurrection is fine.
I never said that was okay. I don't know the specifics. Maybe it is an insurrection, but I would never vote for them then.
Exactly. So let me respond to that. So for one, I don't know enough about the details of that case. Let's assume everything you said is true. So I'll do you this. If you think that was an insurrection, surely you have to concede that January 6th was an insurrection just by because January 6th was more extensive and had way more background behind it. But also I'll do you one better. If you're correct on the details, which I suspect, again, you're not, I'll be consistent. I will not vote for Nancy Pelosi as president, and I will not vote for Trump as president, and no one rational should.
Any response?
What I was going to simply say is this. If you have a problem with, you're trying to blame Trump for Jan 6th, you could, again, that's like me saying, when I asked you earlier, the rhetoric that is being said by a certain person, are they not responsible for an action that takes place after that? You said no. But now here, Trump is responsible. Trump and his rhetoric is responsible for Jan 6th.
No, that's look. Okay, that's obviously insane to say. So for one, Trump was speaking directly to the crowd. If we knew that Kamala directly spoke to the guy who tried to shoot Trump, I would say she's responsible. But all we know is that he looked up
she
Democrats.
Spoke to a crowd. We don't know if that guy was in the crowd.
But
let me jump in, Chris. I'm gonna help you Sample because I think you're also missing a couple points because it's not just that; it's the combination of that, the elector scheme that Sample mentioned earlier. It's like a combination of many factors. Like you're kind of just pointing to one.
Yeah,
do you agree, Sample?
I mean, again, yeah, no, I agree. Are you talking about January 6th or are you talking about the assassination attempts?
Well, I think he's making a connection here because he's basically you're hypocritical because you're saying Trump is responsible for his language. Yeah.
I know what his question was. So yeah, he's. If you want me to repeat his question, because I actually listened, his question was if you say with Kamala that someone says something and then something happens, he's not responsible. Why do you blame Trump for January 6th? Right. So that was his question, and I'm responding to that. So first of all, it's very different in type or in magnitude to what happened. Trump directly spoke to the people who did the insurrection. Kamala never spoke to what's his name, Matthew Thomas Crooks, whatever. She never spoke with him. She never exchanged a word with him. He was a registered Republican, and also he looked up on his phone. We know this. He looked up places.
I have a question.
Democrats.
My question is,
So
my question is, do you know?
Let's hear Glenn. Yeah, go ahead,
You're
Glenn.
saying that you know for a fact that Trump spoke to the people that did the insurrection. You know for a fact that he spoke to them.
He gave them a speech.
Trump was the one that called for protest, and 144 of the convicted people on January 6th said that they were there because of Trump.
He gave a speech, just like Biden gave a speech, just like Harris has given a speech to a mass of people. We don't know if the person was there or if the person was watching.
Okay, yeah, great point.
So by the same standard, then they have led to they could be blamed for the
Okay.
assassination attempt.
Okay,
By your
great
own
point,
by your own
great
measuring
point.
it.
Let me respond to that. Great point. So when Biden and Kamala gave the speech, what percentage of the people who gave the speech did the bad action you're talking about, the assassination attempt? It was one guy out of millions, if that's the crowd you want to include when they give a speech. Okay, now let's look directly a speech at their lips to the crowd, and what percentage of the crowd invaded the Capitol? Oh, wait, fuck me. It was the crowd that invaded the Capitol, right?
That's
So,
not true.
no.
That's not true.
I know not all the people in the crowd invaded the Capitol, but I'm saying like that was like they were directly from the crowd in front of him.
And also,
They
like
were
everyone said that they were there because of Trump. Like we have arrests and convictions.
Also, I want to address you another point. Trump directly talked to people, like directly to their face, to people who were involved in the insurrection, not the people who invaded the Capitol, but the people who planned to submit the fake electors, which is a necessary part of the insurrection, right? This idea of you submit fake electors, which you don't give a fuck about, to Pence in order to delay the certification of the vote, which you don't give a fuck about. Trump helped concoct that. Eastman was there giving part of the speech, okay? We know that. Like, so yeah, Trump did help directly talk to people who were involved in the insurrection. Kamala never spoke to Matthew Crooks. This is a false equivalency. You know that.
No, I'm pointing out the fact that you're saying that Trump's rhetoric led to the insurrection, and I'm pointing out that I'm saying, okay, when I said Biden and Harris's rhetoric led to the assassination attempt, you're like, no, that's not true.
Look here, I'll tell you. I'll be consistent. When Paul Pelosi was beat up with hammers, okay, and I think the guy was a MAGA guy, I don't blame Trump for that. Okay, I don't think that's necessarily because of Trump. Right? So like, yeah, there are 330 million people in the country. Some of them are going to do schizo shit. It's not the fault of the candidate. They cannot control that. When you're giving a speech directly to a crowd, however, and then they invade the Capitol as you called them to, and also plan a scheme behind that earlier to steal the election, I hold you accountable for that. Like, this is my standard, and it's very consistent.
Also, I hate this fucking talking point because I think it's such a good example. Like, both sides are not the same. The rhetoric coming out of the right is so much more violent. And give you many quotes. MTG literally compared Democrats to feral hogs that need to be dealt with violently. Trump has many quotes from himself. He said law enforcement officers should be rough when arresting subjects. He didn't at rallies. He praised congressmen for assaulting a reporter. I give you many quotes, but it's just so. Let me just.
Yeah.
It's so clear the rhetoric out of the right is way more violent and happens way more often. I don't know why we're comparing the two.
Yeah, bro, but Biden said once in a private call to donors, bullseye, bro. He said that.
He did.
So,
Yeah,
I mean,
he said. I can't believe it.
Debunked? Question mark. Also, let me point out, you cannot find any Republicans calling out Trump for his violent rhetoric. Like, you're not gonna find MTG doing that. You're not gonna find even like fucking Mike. Like, yeah, you're not.
Can you give me a quote of what you're calling Trump's violent rhetoric?
Yes.
Yeah,
When he talked about Hillary Clinton in 2016, he said she's gonna take your Second Amendment rights away, and there's nothing you can do about it. Well, maybe the Second Amendment people can do something about it. Obviously, alluding to the fact that people with guns are gonna deal with Hillary violently. That's what you mean by when you say the Second Amendment people. And to this day, I cannot find one Republican in politics like saying anything about that, tweeting anything about that. No one gave a fuck. We all collectively forgot about it.
So
Also, all of this is so.
That's the 2A from 2016.
No. I gave you one example. I can give you more if you want, but can you comment on that example?
Yeah, I'm looking up. I'm looking for this.
Yeah, look up. I can send you a video if you want. Like after I.
So you asked some quotes when talking about some protesters outside the White House in 2020. He said, "Can't you just shoot them? Just shoot them in the leg or something?" That sounds pretty bad coming from the president. It sounds pretty violent as well, especially because protesting should be allowed in America's core.
Also,
freedom.
Just to be clear. Wait. Here's a question for me. Wait, I want to. This will be awesome if you answer this question. What is be brief because this is a rhetorical question to an extent. What is the violent rhetoric that led to that you think Kamala made or Biden made that led to the assassination attempt? Is it like calling him a threat to democracy or whatever? Because Trump does that way more. So if by your standards, right, when you say Kamala says this and this is like a violent rhetoric, then Trump doing it like 30 times more would be way more. So you should condemn it way more, right? Right, like when Kamala says
you're trying to say that he does it way more. I can't confirm nor deny whether or not he does it way more.
Oh, let's take an example.
No, I'm just saying. I cannot say that he does it more than they do. Period.
Okay, but he also does it, right? He also.
I know that he does say shit.
Oh.
Okay, here.
I've already said I already said this before, that he shouldn't be saying dumb shit like that. But quotes like, "Oh, he must not rise again." That's interesting.
Okay. Look. I can give you an example on fascist, right? Kamala only this week called Trump a fascist. Okay, it only happened in the CNN rally, and now she's gonna. CNN town hall, and she's gonna do it again, presumably in the future. But Trump has been calling her a Marxist, communist, Stalinist, fascist for like months now. So that's like an example of Trump doing like the violent rhetoric way more. I mean, he literally called Biden the Gestapo. I mean,
how's calling somebody a Marxist,
communist,
violent
fascist?
Rhetoric?
No, I'm saying if you want to include.
I'm asking how's calling someone a Marxist.
I'm giving you an example.
Rhetoric.
I'm giving you an example. So the Marxist, I was more emphasizing the fascist part. But if you consider Kamala calling Trump a fascist, violent rhetoric, you necessarily have to consider Trump doing it months before she did, as also violent rhetoric, right? When he calls Biden the Gestapo, you have to necessarily also consider that violent rhetoric.
Yeah, so like Joe Scarborough, the MSNBC host, has directly called him Hitler. You had like Robert De Niro.
Wait. Eric, we're comparing Trump. We're comparing Biden and Kamala and the president. You're talking about a third-party person now. We're different.
They haven't directly called him Hitler, but they called him fascist.
Hold on. Okay.
What we're talking about is.
Let me get in here. Shut up for 1 second. Do you think maybe a political pundit might have a different standard than the president of the United States of America? Maybe we should have a different standard for those individuals.
But what we're saying is, which uses more violence?
That's a yes or no question.
The left or right? Where the question is,
the left,
which uses more violent?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So the right as a whole would be them.
Yeah.
Okay,
So, wait. I'll get you 1 second. But wait 1 second. But even if the case, why do you think showing one piece of anecdotal evidence proves me wrong?
Not one anecdotal piece of evidence. I listed multiple. Like
you're bringing up one quote from a political pundit. I brought at least 5 quotes from Trump, the president. So do you think one of those outweighs the other?
Not necessarily. If the question is based on who's doing more violent rhetoric.
Okay, so I believe to a great extent that because we're in a democracy, your leaders reflect your movement to some extent. So let's look at the leaders of the left, which is Kamala and Biden. Let's look at the leaders of the right, which is exclusively Trump at this point. Okay, Trump called, or at least implicitly necessarily called, for that like someone to assassinate Hillary Clinton when he said that maybe the Second Amendment people can do something about it, right? Can you find anything remotely close that Biden or Kamala said? Right, because that's a call to violence. I don't remember anywhere that Trump and that Biden and Kamala called that.
If it was a call to violence, you would have locked him up by now.
What?
Wait, just real quick.
Call to violence, you would have been able to lock him up by now.
Hold on, just real quick. I'm gonna have to go relatively soon. I just want to on that point. We acknowledge Eastman said this plan was going to break the law, right? Do we acknowledge that?
Sorry, what? Say it again.
We acknowledge Eastman knew this plan broke the law, right? That was his plan.
His lawyer, Eastman, John Eastman. Oh, you don't know him because you don't know.
You don't know who Eastman is. Yeah, so I mean, like Eastman literally said, you should consider Pence. You should consider.
Hang on a second. You were saying that no, the Trump didn't actually say this. But now we're saying that the Trump doesn't. So are we making?
I gave you an example.
Are we agreeing
of Trump directly
with the previous topic?
So, wait. I gave you an example of Trump saying, okay, maybe the Second Amendment people can do something about Hillary, right? Like that's like by all like reasonable people, that would be an example of saying, oh, maybe the people with the guns can take care of Hillary, right? That's insane. Biden and Kamala never said anything comparable. I'm asking for that. Now, on the January 6th thing, on the fake elector scheme thing, don't you think it's interesting that you didn't know who John Eastman is, a guy who literally gave a speech?
We're going between like 5 different topics.
Okay, let's stay on.
Because like I said, we're saying, okay, this is what Trump is actually saying, and then in the middle of that, we're bringing up Trump's lawyer and what Trump's lawyer said.
Let me try to wrap this up because I think I see what the big difference is here. Because I think both me, Nonfon and Sample, we would condemn the violent rhetoric that comes out of the left. If we heard a quote like that, we probably like, no, you probably shouldn't say that. The difference is you guys, when it comes to Trump, are always like giving him like an excuse of why it's okay. That's why there's a major difference.
Anything when you say you guys,
I'm mostly talking about Tarek. Yeah, you're right, Glenn. You've been a little bit more reasonable. A little bit, just a little bit.
So on my point, I'll be focused. So on the fake electors thing, it's interesting to me that right wingers always know that Trump said peacefully and patriotically at one point out of a 1 hour long speech, right? It's interesting to me. But they don't know who John Eastman is, a guy who literally gave a speech during the same event and also was instrumental in concocting the fake elector scheme.
And to be clear, said, I implore you to consider one more relatively minor violation of the ECA. Eastman said this plan would break the law. That's the whole point of it.
The exact quote, can you just shoot them in the leg or something, has been attributed to Trump in discussions about how to manage the process, suggesting a harsh response. This was reported by sources close to or within the administration, but not directly confirmed in official transcripts or public statements. But that statement was never officially. Because you're pulling quotes out your ass. You're pulling quotes out your ass.
What are you reading from?
The quote says allegedly.
He allegedly said this. He allegedly said this.
What did Terry say from? What did Terry read from?
I quotes it. I put in the private chat. But hey, let's stay on topic about the Eastman thing. We can't go back to these when Nonfon has to go. So I want to.
I want to go relatively soon. So I want to get off of the incitement thing. I just want to go over: did this plan, whether or not Trump incited the insurrection, this plan broke the law, right? The fake elector scheme broke the law.
You're bringing up false quotes. You're bringing up false sources say that he said this.
It's reported. It's reported.
Even what you type process was he allegedly said this about process.
It's from the article. Okay, you can touch on the article.
And can journalists lie?
What's the clip of Biden?
Can journalists lie?
What's your clip of Biden saying the bull?
Russia hoax?
I gave you. Wait, I'll give you more. Okay, if you don't like that quote, I'll give you 17 more. I don't care if you want to talk. If you don't care about that one, the thing is, there's hundreds and hundreds I can give you. That's the problem. There's no limit to the shitty stuff he said compared to you're like pulling like this like the weakest things from
because
Trump
you're saying that he directly called the violence in this thing, and you're basically saying Trump allegedly said this.
Okay,
even the quote that you're pulling.
That's the second quote. You want to talk about that one? Since you because I can give you a lot more.
Look where this came from.
But while you're doing that, Nonfon, when you go off.
I wanted to move away from the incitement thing a little bit and just focus on like the scheme itself. I'm not talking about the alleged quote or whatever. I'm talking about Eastman himself saying, I implore you to consider one more relatively minor violation of the ECA. Wait, first of all, do you know what the ECA is? I want an answer from both of you.
Again, the second quote that you're bringing up, Process, again is
wait! Oh my God!
I'll address that after, but answer this question first. But I promise I will address that.
I'm Irish, boys. I hate to break this to you. I'm Irish.
Yeah, and you're also wearing a MAGA hat.
Yeah.
I want an answer from Glenn too. Glenn, do you know what the ECA is?
The boys.
I promise I will not. I promise I will not touch that question, but please answer Nonfon, and I'll be happy to answer it after.
Yeah, no, I'm Irish. I don't know the acronyms of America.
The Electoral Count Act.
You're talking about the Electoral Count Act.
Yes. You know what that is. Okay, good. Do you acknowledge that Eastman said he was going to violate this?
What?
Do you acknowledge Eastman said he wanted to violate it?
I can't listen to two people talking at the same time.
Nonfon, you get priority. You get at least him.
Yeah, Nonfon, you go.
Okay. Do you acknowledge that Eastman said that he was going to violate this? That the plan was going to violate it?
Do I acknowledge that Eastman said that he was going to violate it?
Yeah, that the plan would violate the ECA. That what he wanted Pence to do would violate the ECA.
I can't say I do acknowledge that because I haven't read that yet.
Okay, well, I mean, I can send you the link to like the indictment where they go over this, where Eastman said, I implore you to consider one more relatively minor violation and adjourn for 10 days to allow legislators to finish their investigations.
Drop it in the back chat and I'll pull it up.
Here's a question, just to you as a person. If you're going to vote for someone and you know he's been indicted for
Page
something.
42.
You don't even look at the indictment? Don't you think that's like something you should consider before you vote for him? Like, at least read it.
What?
If you're going to vote for someone like Trump, who's been indicted like Trump, don't you think you should at least read the indictment before you're going to vote for him to have power over nukes and the presidency?
A lot of the, there was the Steele dossier. That was a bunch of bogus crap, right? There's a lot of things that he's been indicted for. Just because he's been indicted doesn't mean him guilty of anything. I mean, because there's a lot of people.
Oh my God!
What I'm pointing out is just because somebody has been indicted for something doesn't mean that they actually.
I didn't say you need to accept I didn't say you need to accept
the indictment wholesale. Just because
I said at least read it to know the facts. At least read it. You didn't even read it.
About the ECA?
About the indictment about the fake elector scheme.
Now, I believe the whole Supreme Court, the state Supreme Court got shut down when they tried to push that
that has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
That guilty verdict to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court shut it down, right?
Wait, what? What case? What case? What case?
We're talking about.
No, talk about the whole Jan 6 thing against Trump, right?
I mean, you're aware that they refused to rule whether it was an insurrection, right? You're aware that.
Let's get Nonfon in here.
I was just going to mention, like, you're aware every court of highest review found that January 6th was an insurrection. The Supreme Court refused to rule on whether January 6th was an insurrection. But Sample's point is more relevant, that this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, really.
Yeah. So my point was John Eastman directly said there, like, acknowledged that the plan he proposed and that Trump endorsed would violate the ECA, one of the law that regulates the what do you call it, confirmation
certification of the electoral vote.
The certification, it's the Electoral Count Act. So he, like Trump's own personal lawyer, acknowledged that this would do that. Now I'm saying it's fine if you like. Well, it's kind of not fine if you didn't know that. Why didn't you even read the indictment? I cannot imagine.
Well, for one, Eastman is not
president.
So what Eastman does has nothing to do with Trump.
Oh my God!
This is what they're doing, Glenn. They're bringing up these alleged kind of like quotes from sources.
It's an alleged.
Also, wait, just let me point this out. I had to listen to the right. I had to listen to the right wing for like 2 weeks, telling me Biden said the bullseye comment when that you don't have a video of that. It was in a Zoom call to donors. Now, I believe that he did say that because it's been widely reported. But when Trump says something and it's widely reported, you don't believe that because you don't care about facts. You care about apologizing for Trump.
Glenn? We won. We won the debate, guys. I'm just joking.
When
I can adjust.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, when I'm from Dibs, I'm gonna pick.
Because they're running now. One sec, boys.
Well,
here's Biden directly saying that it was a mistake to use that words.
Oh my God!
These alleged comments that Trump's made.
Hold on, nothing I said was that we have the emails, we have the documents.
I know, I never denied. Look.
So from what I'm reading right now,
Eastman's thing
was not against the law.
It
was.
Oh my God!
Why do you say that?
It didn't break the
know the
ECA.
fact. Why?
What does one more relatively minor violation of the ECA mean? Do you think that was all like hunky dory for the ECA?
Why do you even say that? Like when you didn't read the indictment or you don't know the facts, just don't comment on it. Like, come on.
I'm reading it. I'm reading it right now. How about you just eat a dick?
Reading from what?
To be fair, I think some of I don't know if this matters to you, but Glenn, I think some of other internal lawyers on Trump's team were like, "Yes, this is illegal. We should not do this."
Yeah, like Greg Jacobs wrote a good memo to Pence describing exactly how it's illegal. Like,
yeah, and have the DOJ threaten to resign when Trump told them to bogusly look for voter fraud or announce that they did. Fine.
Yeah, but if I say is X, Y, or Z against TOS, have a broken TOS.
What? If you call for someone to do it, though,
exactly.
You did.
Exactly.
No. If I say Nonfon, you should do this, and this is against TOS. I'm calling for him.
No, wait. Now you mentioned earlier the whole Hillary Clinton, maybe the Second Amendment. People could do something about it. You know what they were referring to, right? They were referring to voting. Maybe the Second Amendment people could vote.
And no. What is the Second Amendment people? What is the How do you know? What is the Why would he specify the Second Amendment people and not just the crowd? Hello? Why would he say the people with guns and not the crowd?
Yeah, so we're finally back to these quotes. Because like I said, the two quotes that you posted, Frances, are alleged.
Oh my God.
No, because you're running from these quotes. These were like ironclad quotes. These were calls to violence.
I don't know address that. You want me to respond to that? So yeah, that's a really dumb thing to bring up because these things happen that weren't on camera. They're behind the scenes stuff. There are quotes from his team and it's like his cabinet members. So you would only have the alleged quote because they weren't fucking documented in email. There would be no other way for them to be reported.
But this is the whole thing of like Trump. No, 1 sec, because we're bringing back to what was the topic of the conversation at the time. You're just saying Trump is using violent rhetoric, but Trump never said these words publicly.
I'm a journalist and I'm writing an article and someone gives me a quote. How do I have to present that quote?
But yous are trying to use it as fact. Trump is there calling for this.
You're not answering my question.
Using it as fact.
If I'm a reporter, how do I have to address quotes when I'm writing an article? Can I say this quote was definitively said, or do I have to preface that by saying allegedly?
Why are you using it? Why are you using it as violent rhetoric that Trump has said when it's alleged quotes?
The fact that it's been reported by cabinet.
Do you know who?
I can just say, I have my sources. I got to protect my sources.
Do you know who's reporting it?
I've pulled it up here, both the quotes. Where you
do you know who they're
pulling
the quote
them? Just shoot them in the legs or something. You were making out as if Trump directly called that, but it's alleged. He never publicly stated it.
And you guys know that there's not one court that has called this whole thing an insurrection.
The Colorado Supreme Court.
Yes, there is.
Okay. You don't answer this question. I don't think you will because you're going to demonstrate how much an idiot you are. Who are they quoting in this article? Who's saying this quote? Who are they getting this from?
A source from Trump. They're quoting a source. But Trump never actually said it. And in reference to the argument, you were saying Trump is using violent rhetoric, and he didn't. Trump didn't actually use the violent rhetoric.
1 second. Here, let's say if I'm in a room with you somewhere and there's no one else there, and then I report that quote to someone else later, how do I have? Does that mean that didn't happen?
How do you know that it did?
Because
you're making the argument that didn't happen though. You're making the argument that generally did not happen.
No, I'm not. No, my petit chéri. Because I will remind you, I'm agnostic. And agnostics don't say that God doesn't exist. They say they don't know he exists.
Okay.
Yes, correct?
I want to ask you
what I'm saying is I'm agnostic.
I will go to you and say, no, someone agnostic is neutral does not fucking freak out when a quote is alleged. They go, oh, well, yeah, they were quoting someone.
It's alleged. Yes, it's alleged. We don't know if he made it. We don't know if he made it.
Bad thing. I'm saying that's fine.
No, I'm
alleged.
Princess, I'm simply stating we don't know if he made it. We don't. So you cannot present it as if he did make it. That's my case.
One question.
Here's my question for you.
Go ahead, Sample.
Yeah, okay.
Can you guys prove that it's an insurrection? Show me.
We'll get into the instruction. I promise. Glenn, right to this, but
wait.
Go ahead, Sample.
You could. I love that you're citing all these quotes. Of course, they're never going to engage if it's from a report or if it says allegedly. Let's focus on Trump in 4K on video saying. Maybe the Second Amendment people can do something about Hillary, right? Like we have it on video. Like you cannot deny that. Why would he?
He might have said that, but there's many different ways to interpret that.
I want to ask the Lawrence guy. If you think it was because he was talking to like people voting, why would he specify the Second Amendment people, the people with the guns, and not just the crowd?
The voters who care about that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Your mic's low.
So, okay, my bad. So what he said, maybe the Second Amendment people can do that, can do something about Hillary, right? And if you think he's talking about people voting, why would he specify the people with the guns, i.e. the Second Amendment people, and not the people in the crowd? Like maybe you can do something about it, like right, the crowd. Yeah, maybe you guys can do something about it by voting. And also he was saying about what she's gonna do. He said, oh, she's gonna take away your guns and there's nothing you can do about it. So it sounds like he's saying, assuming she's president, there's nothing you can do about it, right? That like he was not talking about people voting against her. He was saying when she's in.
No, that's what you're trying to imply that he's saying.
We know for a fact he said that.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm using basic English. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm using basic English to infer what he said. Yeah, I'm using basic English to infer what he said. Yes.
Okay, and I'm not implying anything.
Oh.
Because I am reading exactly what he said right now. And that says means like he's talking about anybody doing any malicious or violent things to Hillary Clinton.
Okay. So I want to ask the crowd a question. Like, does anyone here have a single doubt in their heart that if Kamala or Biden said a similar thing about Trump, Republicans would not shut the fuck up about it for years, right? Like does anyone have here a single doubt about this? Because I don't.
that supposed to be an argument?
Yeah, obviously.
That you don't have doubts? That, again, it's just implications that you're trying to
No, again, it's
asperge.
basic
Oh my
English. When
fucking
he
God.
says, look, let's analyze what he's saying. He's saying, when she's president, she's going to take your guns and there's nothing you can do about it. So he's not talking about voting. He's talking about when she's president, right? And then he says, well, maybe the Second Amendment people can do something about it. That is, when she's president, the people with the guns can do something to oppose Hillary's trying to take away your guns. So it's not about voting
Yeah,
because he's
Glenn,
talking
can you
about when
read the
she's already
direct quote?
president. Yeah, I mean, I can try to look it up.
I have it right here. I
Yeah,
have it
Glenn
right
has it
here.
right there.
Read it.
Here are Trump's remarks. Actually quite brief in full context. So here, I just wrote this down today. Hillary wants to raise taxes in comparison. I want to lower them. Hillary wants to expand regulations, which she does bigly. Can you believe that? I will reduce them very substantially. Could be as 70 to 75%. Hillary wants to shut down energy production. I want to expand it. Lower electric bills, folks. Hillary wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, and if she gets to pick her judges, nothing you could do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, that will be an honorable day, or it'll be a horrible day if Hillary gets to put judges in.
Right. And by the way, when he was saying like the I don't know stuff, he was
so
like
again, their
laughing and
quote was
giggling.
bullshit.
Wait, just 1 second. Oh my. So when he was saying this, we have it on video. He was giggling and like saying, oh, maybe the Second Amendment people, I don't know. So he's talking. Let me lay down an argument. He's talking about when she's president. So he's not talking about people voting against her, because otherwise, why would he say there's nothing you can do about it? He's saying when she's president and she gets her pick, she's going to do like abolish the Second Amendment, and there's nothing you can do about it except maybe the Second Amendment people. So under the simplest interpretation, probably the only interpretation,
What does
he's
the word
saying
if
when
mean?
she's president, he's calling for people with the guns to oppose her violently with the guns. Very simple.
Yeah, so he uses the word if, and an if is conditional. So maybe there's something Second Amendment voters could do.
No, he didn't use the word if.
What? Yeah.
Glenn, read the quote again.
Okay.
He said if he gets to pick her judges,
I'll
saying
just
about
start
picking
from
her
the Second
judges.
Amendment part. I'm going to just read from the Second Amendment part. It goes, Hillary wants to essentially abolish the Second Amendment. By the way, if she gets to pick, if she gets to pick her judges,
that's not what you were
there's
talking
nothing
about.
You can do about it, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, that will be a horrible day if Hillary gets to put in her judges.
Amazing. I mean, so that was after he said that. But okay, look. What does when he said if it's about her picking judges, what does that have to do with anything? He called for people to handle Hillary violently if she gets to pick her judges. Like that's a
means if she gets to pick judges, if she gets elected.
Right.
Yes. So then if she gets elected, that means he's talking to the voters to make sure that she doesn't get elected.
No, because otherwise, why would he say there's nothing? Let me finish. My God, when I say no, obviously I'm following it up with an argument. So when he says there's nothing you can do about it except maybe the Second Amendment people, why would he not just say the way you can handle it is by voting it against her, right? Because he's not talking about that. He's talking about in the situation where she's like picking the judges, there's nothing you can do except the people with the guns.
Again, when he's saying maybe there is something you could do, he's talking about voting against her.
I already explained why not. You're not responding.
No,
I already explained why not. You're not responding.
Your explanation, and I think your explanation is stupid.
Oh my God.
What did I just say? What did I just say?
Only way that she gets to pick her judges is if she gets elected.
And I want to point out your boy sample text that were saying when.
So answer my question. Wait, answer my question then. If he's talking about people voting, why would he specify the Second Amendment people and not the entire crowd? Why would he say there's nothing you can do about it except the Second Amendment people? Or like maybe the Second Amendment people can do something. I don't know, right? Like why would he say that and not just the only way you can prevent it is by voting? Otherwise, like, do you think he's saying there's nothing you can do about it?
Because probably maybe the Second Amendment people are the ones that are really concerned about losing their Second Amendment rights.
Oh,
so if you guys
the people with the gun.
Make sure you turn out and vote, then you guys could do something about it.
Nope.
And I just want to
Well, I
add as
mean,
well,
that-
like
that's
with
true.
all these
You
indictments,
saying no doesn't mean that it's not true.
So why
So-
would
with
he-
all these
okay, so when he
indictments that
says
they
there's
threw at
nothing you
Trump,
can
with
do about
all
it, he means
these
the people without the
cases they threw at Trump, not a single one of them was like, yeah, we're going to get him on this quote because it's a call to violence. It's clearly a call to violence. Not one of these indictments was brought up.
No, it's not a direct call to violence. It's implicit
Oh,
call to
so it's
violence.
not a direct call to
It's an
violence.
implicit.
I'm glad
it's an
we
implicit
established
call
that.
to violence.
Thank you.
It's an implicit.
Thank you.
Yeah, we agree. Kamala and Biden never directly called to violence. We're talking about implicit calls to violence. You believe that too?
Yeah, so I'm glad we cleared that up because, like I said, these
I
quotes
never-
he's
I never said
presenting,
otherwise,
he's directly calling to violence, but he's
I
not
never
directly
said
calling to
that.
violence.
No, I never said that. I said that's the only meaningful. Like, that's the only interpretation. I think it implies that it's indirect, of course, but
Well,
he
we just
doesn't
gave
say
you another
people should shoot up
interpretation,
the-
so I'm glad we cleared that up.
I'm glad to.
Okay.
He's definitely
great.
joking about
Wait. Oh my
about
God.
people being violent, using violent against. Go ahead, Nonfon.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
but
We
still-
cleared it up. Okay, we're done. Listen, I have to go like by 12. Okay, we acknowledge, Glenn. Eastman said his plan would break the ECA. He says this 2 times. Once in an email where the quote is listed in the indictment, and once in his own memo where he says this would be the first break with the procedure set out in the act. His own words.
Oh, did your audio cut out? Was that just me?
Me or Glenn?
What?
No, I could still hear him.
I was looking at my end. Glenn, did you hear his question?
Yeah, I'm pulling up the page 42 again right now. I was looking at something else.
You can just control F it. Like one more.
Look, non-fun. I think you're operating on a too high of a level. Like, these people didn't even know who Eastman was. Like, so why are you asking them a question about it?
Well, I mean, it's just dumb because
Well, you're pulling up
they
false
all this
quotes.
talk about incitement. It's like, well, I don't think Democrats have ever self-admittedly said we plan to break the law and overturn an
I
election.
gotta call Terry. Wait, 1 second, Glenn, because you're a fucking liar. Just a second ago, you said you were not saying you said you're neutral on whether. Now you're saying no.
Those
He
false quotes.
was definitively lying.
You
Yeah, when you say
presented
false
them.
quotes,
You present
when
them.
when you say the false quotes,
present
you
them
mean
as if
they're
Trump
not real.
was directly calling to these. If Trump directly said these publicly,
But you're not. Okay,
we
you're not being
established he
neutral.
didn't
You're
directly
saying
say-
you're saying they're a
here's the
lie.
question.
Stop being fucking bullshitting.
I'm saying
and-
they're false. I'm saying
Stop
that
being
the
a
fact
fucking
that these
pussy
were
and
public
just stand by
statements are
your point.
false.
You're saying I'm
I'm
lying.
saying
Okay,
that.
yeah.
All I'm saying is that these you were presenting these as if these were public comments publicly made, and they weren't.
I never said that.
No one
I
said
literally
that. No one said
said
that.
it like
No
this
one
in
said
the
it
whole
in
game.
public.
That's-
Goddamn
it was in
idiot. It
public.
literally tried to reveal the chat. It says allegedly in the thing I copy and pasted you.
Yes,
No one said it
but
was
the
in public.
topic was that Trump was using violent rhetoric, but the sources
All right,
that you
stop
quoted
with the
were
goalposts.
sources from sources.
Earlier you said you're neutral on it being true or false. Now you're saying it's a lie.
What I'm saying is we don't know.
Lie, yeah.
We don't know if he said it. We don't
That's
know.
not what you just said. You just said it was a lie. So
don't know.
stop fucking. Okay, either you're dumb or you're contradicting yourself. But no, Glenn had.
We
I
don't
should have called
know if
Terry
he
out
said
for being a liar. Go ahead.
We agree there are reports. We agree there are
They're false
credible
quotes.
reports of him saying it. We agree there are credible reports of him saying it.
We can move off this. Tarek just dug his own grave. Earlier, he said he didn't give a shit. Either way, it could go. Now he's saying it's a lie. So
I have an interesting way to move off of
We
this
don't
because
know
we've
if
been
he
on
said
January
these.
6th. Wait. We've been on January
That's
6th.
not what you
for an hour.
just think. You said he did not say it at all. You keep flip-flopping back and forth. Make a fucking point and stick to it, Tarek.
What I'm saying is
fucking
you
go.
presented
Stop
them as
moving
if
the
he
goalposts
said
over and over
them.
again.
That is false.
He didn't. He said like the cabinet report. Like he said when he had even the opportunity to explain himself. But look, we've been on the January 6th topic for like an hour. I have an interesting way to move away from this. So look, if when Biden was talking about the
No, wait a
bullseye
minute.
thing,
I
that
didn't
was
get,
in a
I asked
was-
something about January 6th a little bit ago, Francis, and you said that you will get back to it. So
Wait, can you answer my question?
No, not fun. I don't think they know who Eastman is. So like, it doesn't like. I don't think it matters.
I have it pulled up right here. I'm looking at it.
Page
But he
42,
didn't even
paragraph
know who Eastman
122.
Co-conspirator
There you go.
2.
That's Eastman.
Does it list that anywhere else?
We
Hey,
know
hey,
it's Eastman. It says they explain who person two or co-conspirator 2 is. It's a private
I'm gonna pull
lawyer
it up.
working with Trump. We know it's Eastman. We know for a fact.
I
it's
don't.
Eastman.
So I'm
even-
gonna look it up.
Oh my fucking god!
There's a map
also
translating. Okay, look. That's not fun. That's why I'm saying like they don't even know the basic facts of the indictment or the court filing. So like,
no, I just want to make sure that I could, where it says conspirators,
because you don't know the basic facts. Yeah, I know because you don't know.
I want them to say the name. I want to be able to read the name.
Look. I'm not saying. Look, you have to agree with what I said. You don't know the basic facts of the indictment. I'm not like chastising you for it. I'm just saying you don't know. So that's like it's like a too deep of a question to ask.
No, it has nothing to do with that. I just want to make sure that when they list the conspirators, the co-conspirators, I know who they're referring to.
So you think you do know the basic facts of the indictment? Like,
Did I
what do you
say
mean
that?
no?
I said
okay,
I
so
know.
You said no. You said no after I
didn't.
said something.
I said no. I want to just make sure that the co-conspirator that they're referring to, number 2, is Eastman.
Okay.
That's what I was saying.
Awesome.
Don't assume that you know anything that I'm saying.
Okay. No, I'm saying you don't. I'm telling Nonfon that he's asking a question that is on a too deep of a level for the topic because you guys don't even know the basic facts of the indictment. Do you think you know the basic facts of the indictment?
No, I don't know all the facts of the indictment.
So my argument stands. So why would you interrupt me for that? Why would you interrupt me if my argument is correct?
But that doesn't mean that he is correct in that saying that Eastman is co-conspirator number 2.
I didn't ask him about if
I'm
Eastman
not
said
talking
it.
to you. I'm talking. I was answering his question. His question was, am I going to concede or admit to agreeing that Eastman knew that this was? I don't know who's co-conspirator number 2.
Awesome. So
wait, I can answer that for you. It's John Eastman.
So Nonfon. Okay, Nonfon. In the meanwhile, while he's researching who co-conspirator 2 is,
I'm supposed to just take your word for it without you proving it or finding any evidence to support that it says that Eastman is co-conspirator number 2.
So they define. Okay, look. So they define who co-conspirator number 2 is, and like we know this. There are like there's even like a handy dictionary you can like see that like they explain who co-conspirator 1, 2, 3, 4 and is whatever. But I want to ask Nonfon a question. Do you agree like if someone doesn't know the basic details of the indictment, this is like too deep of a question to ask them?
They should just be able to look at it and read it and be like, oh yeah, Eastman did acknowledge that this violated the ECA. Like they should be able to concede on that point at least. Like
well, there's actually some cope you can do. There's some cope you can do around it, but I'm not gonna give it to them because it's false. But look. I want to make this point in the meanwhile while he's looking up who co-conspirator 2 is. I want to make this point. When we all believed justifiably that after the assassination attempt that Biden had a private call with donors where he said the bullseye comment, right? We all believed that justifiably, even though we didn't have a video. It's because it was widely reported.
I linked the video.
Is it on video
where Biden actually says he regrets using the terminology?
I know. Why would you?
Oh my god!
That's not what I said. Okay, bro. Don't interrupt me for that. I never said the walking back was private. I said the comment itself was private. Why would the fuck would you interrupt me for that?
But he verified because you can.
I know. I said before that.
Walking it back,
I said before that. I said after the assassination. I didn't say
because why would he walk it back?
Okay, let me clarify. Before he confirmed it, we all justifiably believed that he said that because there were credible reports of him saying that. Now, it wasn't a private call to donors. We also know a lot of things that Trump were reportedly said in a private call to donors. If our standard is that we believed it when it was widely reported that Biden said something in a private call to donors, it stands to reason that we would also believe it when it's widely credibly reported. Let me finish. That Trump says it in a private call to donors. My favorite example of an unhinged comment that Trump said in a private call to donors that is credibly widely reported is that he would end or handle the Ukraine war by painting the Chinese flag on F-22 jets and bombing the shit out of Russia. Like that's my favorite example. I don't know if you know of any. Oh wait, you don't because you never research anything into Trump.
Are you answering your own questions now?
So
that's kind of sad, man.
There's nothing that explicitly says which co-conspirator is who. Now there's everything that says that the likely list of the 6 conspirators are this person, Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman, the likely ones, but nothing explicitly says that it's this person.
Okay, every reliable media outlet says it's John Eastman. You're just like doing unhinged copy. Also, here's a document written by Eastman himself, page 2.2, the last sentence. This would be the first break with the procedure set out in the act. This is him saying that he wants to break the procedure set out in the Electoral Count Act. So that's Eastman himself saying it again.
Nonfon, you're not explaining yourself. They don't know what you mean. Wait, why would you
Oh my god.
Look.
Also,
So In the
precise.
indictment, they cite co-conspirator to multiple times. Even I believe in the speech he gave at the Ellipse, so you can like verify directly that it's Eastman. It's widely reported that it's Eastman, but let's all assume for now it's Eastman. If it turns out that it's not Eastman, contrary to everyone who knows the basic facts of the indictment, then we'll walk everything back. But for now, because everyone with two senses that knows everything about the indictment agrees that it's Eastman. So assume for a second it's Eastman. Do you agree then that this is Trump's personal lawyer who Trump was in communications with, who gave a speech in the same day that Trump gave the speech, right? And this is him acknowledging that his plan would break the law, and Trump endorsed that plan and advocated.
I'm not going to say that anything until something's verified that this is the person that you're saying it is.
Okay. Oh my God. That's so great. Okay. The other link I sent you, page 2.2, the last sentence. This would be the first break with the procedure set out in the act. This was written by Eastman,
right? Yeah, this is signed by
I assume so, yeah.
And signed. Yeah. What? Look, we have Pence directly. Like if you all voted Trump in 2016 and 2020, you necessarily also voted for Pence because he was on the ticket. We have Pence himself saying, Trump asked me to overturn the results of the election that day. Right? This is the guy who earned your vote. My God. Obviously, overturning the results of a democratic election is an insurrection. Obviously. Come to your senses.
Okay, interesting you made that assertion. So
if it's been an insurrection, give me proof that there's
Wait, stop. No, don't go down this road. Do you acknowledge that Eastman acknowledged that his plan would violate the ECA?
Not one court.
Wait, stop. No.
Answer the question. Then go off, Glenn.
Well, because this has been my question. You guys can't prove not one court.
Wait.
Oh my fucking God. Answer the question. Did Eastman acknowledge his plan would break the ECA? Oh my God.
By the way, I have an answer to that. But okay.
Also, the Colorado Supreme Court.
Let's repeat the question one more time so everyone understands what it is.
Did John Eastman acknowledge that his plan would break the procedure set out in the Electoral Count Act?
On page 2?
On page 2.2, the last sentence.
Maybe we can just take his word for it. I doubt he's lying since he's referencing a document. We all.
I have it on screen. I can quote it too if you want.
This would be the first break with the procedure set out in the act. That's what he said.
Yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
This would be the first break with the procedure set out in the act.
Yes.
What was your question again?
Is that's him acknowledging that this would break the procedure of the Electoral Count Act, right? Or do you dispute that?
No, he said this would be the first break with the procedure set out in the act.
Yes. Yeah.
But what does that have to do with anything? What was your point on saying
that's
this?
Him saying he's going to break the Electoral Count Act, or he wants Pence to. But
this would be the first break with the procedure set out in the act. So this would just break from the procedure.
The procedure being the Electoral Count Act, the law, the wording of the Electoral Count Act.
Now that's how is this relevant, or how does this go back to Trump?
Wait, answer the question. Did Eastman acknowledge his plan would break the ECA?
This would be the first break within the procedure, with the procedure. That's what he says.
The procedure set out in the act, aka what the act tells Congress to do, which is the law.
This would be He's saying that when he gets to Arizona, he announces that he has multiple slates of electors, and so is going to defer decision on that until finishing the other states. This would be the first break with the procedure set out in the act. That's what he says.
Mm-hmm. That's him saying Pence doing this would break the procedure set out in the Electoral Count Act. The Electoral Count Act is the law that lays out procedures and how the electoral vote is to be certified. This is him saying, I'm going to break that, or Pence would break it.
Yeah, if Pence did this would be the break out of the procedures. They're not following the procedures of the act.
The procedure set out in the act, which is the law. This is him saying, I'm going to break. This is a law that sets out procedures.
It's like, oh, there's a set of laws, and you're like, well, he only broke this one part of the law. It's like, well, he still broke the law, though. Like, it's not like that's what we're kind of saying.
Yeah,
Yes,
literally
but
the
I'm
point of this law is to set out the rules, the procedure for certifying the vote. This is him saying we're going to break those rules.
That's this Eastman lawyer, allegedly, or this according to the memos.
The memos that he wrote, yes.
To be fair, I think it's not. I think it's not controversial. Where Eastman even himself has conceded that both actions he proposed were based on the same underlying legal theory that violated the ECA. I don't think that's controversial.
It's not controversial at all. These two people, they're like Trump supporters, just don't engage with reality.
Again, I'm not saying that it isn't a violation of the ECA, but how does that have to do with Trump? Again,
Wait, I don't care if this is a violation of the ECA or not.
I didn't
okay,
say I didn't care. Don't put words in my mouth. I said
I didn't say. I said I didn't care. I don't care. Maybe Eastman's wrong. Maybe this doesn't violate the ECA. Maybe Eastman's a bad lawyer. I think Eastman's a bad lawyer. Did Eastman acknowledge though that his plan, what he wanted Pence to do, would violate the ECA?
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we got a yes out of that. Okay, it's 12. I gotta go.
Oh, but my question is, again,
Okay.
give me any ruling that states that Trump and this whole thing was an insurrection.
The Colorado Supreme Court.
No, that was not. They did not rule on that whatsoever.
Yeah, the Colorado Supreme Court disqualified Trump for being on the ballot because he committed an insurrection. That is what they ruled. Yes, the Colorado Supreme Court ruled
also,
that.
wait. So,
Wait, I got to jump in for 1 second. Nonfon has been here for almost 4 hours. They've been very nice for sticking around for so long, but I want to give them some time to get out of there. And so I've been DMing you saying like, hey, if you got to get out of here, let me know. And you didn't respond. But I assume you do leave at some point in the near future. So I want to give you a chance to say any parting words or just leave the stream with any insights.
Well, I want Sample to go over to Colorado Supreme Court ruling. I'm assuming he knows that too.
Well, we must stick around for a little bit. Just give me a timeline of when you want to get out of here because I hate just having to
as soon as we get through to Glenn that the courts did rule it was an insurrection, then I will leave.
Might be a couple hours, I'm saying. Okay.
Oh,
Go ahead, Sample.
I will leave soon too. I'm also tired. I just want to say, like,
I'll
there's
go
not
on.
only the Colorado Supreme Court. There's also the New Mexico Court. His name was Couy Griffin or something. Couy Griffin. He was found guilty of being involved in insurrection by the New Mexico Court. This was not overturned by any court. Also, the Colorado decision did, just to clarify, because you're going to object that their decision was overturned. Colorado's decision disqualified Trump for the ballot because they found that he did engage in insurrection, and the Supreme Court overturned not their conclusion that it's an insurrection. The Supreme Court explicitly said they're not, or I don't know if explicitly, but they never commented on if it's an insurrection or not. They only overturned their decision to remove Trump from the ballot. They never commented about if January 6th was an insurrection or not.
Yeah,
so
but absence
just
of
to be clear, we
evidence
have
is
at
not
least two. No.
What?
I'm saying this. He asked me
because
for.
they didn't comment on it.
I'm asking. Let me finish. Let me finish. You said your thing. So he asked me for a court that found that January 6th was an insurrection. I gave you two: the New Mexico Court that found Couy Griffin guilty of involved in insurrection, and the Colorado Supreme Court. Now, the Colorado Supreme Court has been the decision has been overturned, but when they overturned it, they did not talk about their conclusion of if January 6th was an insurrection. So I'm not saying because the Supreme Court didn't comment, they agreed. That's not what I said. I said the Colorado Supreme Court found that it was an insurrection, and no court overturned or rebutted that conclusion to this day. Now, I want to add, you guys. Wait, I want to add another thing. Another thing, Trumpists are never critical of Trump, so they don't know the details of these cases.
So let's talk about Kamala.
Wait, no.
Kamala says that she needs to save democracy, but how many votes did she get in the DNC?
That's great. Okay, wait. I need to fucking go. I want Glenn to answer. Does he now acknowledge that? I don't know if Glenn.
I want recognition from Glenn too.
I don't know, because you're talking about the panel of judges in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
That were they took him off the ballot because they're labeling it an insurrection, but it was never classified or ruled as an insurrection by any judge.
I gave you another judge. Bro. So first of all, the Supreme Court,
I'm looking it up.
Colorado Supreme Court. So wait a second. So there was. So first of all, there was a lower level judge that did find it as an insurrection, and then it was appealed to the Colorado Supreme Court. So you're lying there. There was a judge who found that within Colorado, but also there was in New Mexico. I gave you this case already, the Cooey Griffin case. He was found. He was involved in January 6th. He was then involved in some other campaign, and he was found to be guilty of being involved in an insurrection by the New Mexico Supreme Court. Not Supreme Court, by New Mexico court. So that's another court for you that classified January 6th as an insurrection. But the Colorado Supreme Court definitely did call it an insurrection, and also a lower level court within Colorado. That's why it was appealed to the Supreme Court of Colorado. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like
right?
they wouldn't have removed him from the ballot if they didn't rule it was an insurrection. They removed him based off Section 3, Amendment 14.
A judge in Colorado that's trying to call this an insurrection, right?
A
And then
judge.
that got appealed to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, no, it's not. So
No.
We already went over this. We literally preloaded the response.
We already explained it to you. What happened in Colorado was a judge. So wait a second. So there was an appeal by a certain campaign of Democrats to make Trump off the ballot. Okay. Then the district judge or whatever found that it is a legitimate claim. So January 6th was an insurrection. That's what she said. Then it was appealed to the Colorado Supreme Court. Right, and what they said is that yes, January 6th was also an insurrection, and therefore we're taking.
No. The Colorado.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
They said
And then the
it
Supreme
might
Court of the
be
United
an
States.
insurrection. Their opinion was that it might be an insurrection. Verbatim was
No.
the words. Okay, that's
No.
exactly what they said. And then and
No.
also, no one has been
Why
charged.
can I not finish?
with
Why can I not finish?
insurrection.
Why can I not finish?
One at a time,
A
yo.
5-minute diatribe.
Bro, I'm trying to finish. Yeah. So what happened is that
And asking rhetorical
there was a
questions
lower
and then
level
answering those
there was a
rhetorical
lower
One at a
level judge in
time.
Colorado. There was the lower level judge in Colorado found it to be an insurrection. Then the Colorado Supreme Court affirmed their decision. There was a New Mexico court, which again you have not responded to at all. But then the Colorado Supreme Court called it an insurrection and ordered Trump off the ballot. And the Supreme Court of the United States did not say that January 6th was not an insurrection. They only overturned the Colorado Supreme Court decision about taking Trump off the ballot. They did not comment about if it's an insurrection or not. That's it.
Any response?
Okay, yeah.
Glenn?
So I'm going to do it one by one. All right. Again, the Colorado Supreme Court, they tried to label it as insurrection, but then the panel of judges said, in their opinion, it might be an insurrection. So that's not an insurrection. It might be. That's what's their opinion. So not even that can't even be hold. So they might be something else too.
Just real quick, I had this quote from the ruling. This is the ruling that the district court did not err in concluding that those events constituted an insurrection and that the former president engaged in that insurrection. That is a direct quote from the ruling Trump v. Anderson of the Colorado Supreme Court.
Why are you lying? Why are you lying?
I am not lying. I'm also reading what the Supreme Court said.
So wait, okay, what do you have to say about what Nonfon just read?
No,
to you, directly
Supreme
from
Court
the
has
decision?
never said that it was an insurrection.
Bro, why do you have to say about Nonfon? Nonfon just told you the Supreme Court of Colorado, in their decision, said that the lower level court was not wrong in calling it an insurrection, and that indeed Trump was partaking in that insurrection. That's directly from their decision. What do you have to say on that?
Put it in the back chat and let me read it.
Okay.
So again,
page 3 on this.
Because I've been patient, boys. Glenn asked you, what is your evidence? And your evidence is an argument from authority. And then Glenn
No, hold on. Glenn is disputing the fact that an authority ruled on it. Glenn is disputing the fact that an authority ruled on it. I can quote directly from the ruling. This is on page 3. Page 3. Oh my God. No way. I need to get that. Glenn is just lying. All MAGA knows how to do is lie. This says the majority concluded that for the purposes of Section 3, the presidency is an office under the United States and the president is an officer of the United States. The court otherwise affirmed, 1, that the Colorado election code permitted the respondent's challenge based on Section 3. 2, that Congress need not pass implementation for disqualification under Section 3. That's just saying it's self-executing. 3, that the political questions doctrine does not preclude the judicial review of a former President Trump's eligibility. And 4, that the district court did not abuse in admitting into evidence portions of those congressional reports on the event of January 6th. And 5, the district court did not err in concluding that those events constituted insurrection.
Let me respond. So basically, what you're doing is you're using an argument from authority fallacy. Okay?
Holy shit! No, I'm not.
Wait.
I'm going to teach you boys.
I want to address that.
Well, one second. Before we do this, because we had to explain to Tarek why that's not an argument from authority.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
wanna do
okay.
that. Yeah, I
So
wanna explain to
Glenn's original question was, what is your evidence that January 6th was an insurrection? And you just said, well, a court ruled on it.
Okay.
Glenn said
I wanna
no
respond.
court
I wanna
ruled it was an
respond.
insurrection.
Wait,
I'm disputing
wait,
that.
Glenn, you didn't ask that question.
I want to respond. So Terry, that was a lie. That's not his question. His question was what?
No. What I'm saying is that's the question.
Let me finish. His question was what court found it to be an insurrection? That was his question. He asked it multiple times. Hopefully he can also attest to that.
I said what
you can go back in the VOD. He literally asked what court. Why the fuck are you lying and saying he asked for evidence? He asked for
his
the
original
court
question
decision.
that set us down this
No,
path
it was
was,
not.
what is your
No, it was
evidence?
not.
And your
No, it
evidence was
was
the quote court. Yes, it was.
No,
We can
it
go
was not.
back.
Oh
He
my
asked
God,
for it.
no.
Yes or no? Yes or
We
no?
go back.
Yes or no? Did he ask for a court? Yes or no?
Glenn, was
Did he
that
ask
your
for a
original
court?
question?
My original question is what court said it was an insurrection and that was
Retard, liar.
We can go back. We
Liar.
can go back.
Wait,
on
the
it.
court didn't rule on whether Jan 6 was an insurrection. You acknowledge that, right? The Supreme Court ruled that the Supreme Court did not rule on whether January 6th was an insurrection. They did not overturn that part.
Nobody has been charged for Jan 6 as an
listen or that you lied?
insurrection.
Oh my God, that's not what you asked. I'm not talking about charges right now. I'm talking about the Supreme Court of Colorado ruled Jan 6 was an insurrection.
No.
And New Mexico. Why are you guys not addressing New Mexico? New Mexico.
Yeah, they're
also
also
said
not
that.
addressing New Mexico. I don't have the New Mexico ruling pulled up, but like,
Yeah, look up COUY Griffin. Okay,
and
COUY
just
Griffin.
like so we're clear, that was upheld because the ruling from the Supreme Court said, well, states can't disqualify insurrectionists for federal office, but they can disqualify insurrectionists for state offices. So that's why the banning someone from the New Mexico ballot was allowed to be
Supreme Court of the
upheld.
United States, yeah, exactly. The Supreme Court of the United States overturned Colorado not because they disagreed it was an insurrection, because they disagreed that even if it is an insurrection, the state court cannot have authority over this. That was their argument. So they did not explicitly, like you can read their decision. They did not say a thing about if it was or not an insurrection. And I could be wrong, but they literally said they're not going to touch that. But I could be wrong on that. So I'm just saying. So just straight up, the Colorado Supreme Court did affirm it was an insurrection. The lower level court also said that, and the New Mexico court, everyone can look up right now, COUY Griffin insurrection, and find exactly what I'm talking about. Also, a New Mexico court ruled that it was an insurrection. Meanwhile, you have the 0 courts that said it was not an insurrection. And also, wait, Terry, do you admit that you either didn't listen carefully enough or you lied when you said his question was about evidence? His question was about the courts. Do you admit that?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. I think Ivana was, he saw you were making like an argument where you're citing authority and decided to jump down with a fallacy that was really irrelevant. We're talking about insurrections, which is a legal term and something that like courts decide on. So it totally makes sense to cite an authority in this case. That's really dumb to bring up like that fallacy.
Also, yes,
Well, it's not even Glenn is disputing that an authority ruled in it at all when we literally have them saying we ruled on this.
Also, a court deciding, look, for example, whether someone was in a certain place, that's not a legal concept. But if a court decided that someone was in a legal place in a certain place at a certain time, that's obviously evidence we can cite that someone was there, right? If someone asks me, Nonfon, what's your evidence that I was in Miami a week ago? Nonfon can say, oh, literally a court found you to be there, right? Like that's not an appeal to authority. That's like an evidence. That's evidence. Of course, he can cite that. That's totally legitimate.
Glenn, do we acknowledge that the Colorado Supreme Court ruled that there was an insurrection yet?
No, so the Supreme Court did not say. The Supreme Court did not have
The Supreme Court of Colorado Supreme Court.
Of Colorado.
Opinion.
Glenn, did the Colorado Supreme Court rule that it was an insurrection?
No, they rendered an opinion saying that it might be an insurrection.
Okay, so why did they say in their ruling then that the court did not err in determining that it was an insurrection?
I'm looking up that information right now.
Wait.
Holy
Nonfon,
fucking shit.
Nonfon. There's a better argument you can make. In the thing they're writing, they're saying the court ruled that they're saying they did not err in calling it an insurrection. That means there was another court that called it an insurrection, directly refuting his argument.
That's true as well.
I'm talking about. I said Supreme Court. I said what Supreme Court? What
I don't think
Supreme
you didn't
Court?
say Supreme Court. I don't think you said
Colorado
that.
State Supreme Court. You can look it up.
And that they got rejected.
No.
Oh
Again,
my
we're
God.
explaining this to you for the millionth time. Look. Here's the thing. Okay. They decided, I'll explain very slowly. There was a court in Colorado that found that January 6th was an insurrection, and therefore they can take Trump off the ballot. It was appealed to the Supreme Court of Colorado, and what they said is that the January 6th was an insurrection, and you can take him off the ballot because of that. Then it was appealed to the Supreme Court of the United States, and listen very carefully. What the Supreme Court of the United States said they did not decide that it was not an insurrection. What they decided is that the Colorado Supreme Court could not rule Trump off the ballot, even if he did commit an insurrection, because the state Supreme Court does not have the authority to rule that. That's what they decided. They did not say it was not an insurrection. And also we can ditch Colorado completely. I cited to you New Mexico. The court there.
And what do you think?
What
do you think about this situation? What's your opinion?
It was an insurrection. I think January 6th was an insurrection.
Wait, hold on. I don't want to go down this road because I have to leave. I had to leave a while ago. Okay. I just want the concession from Glenn that the Colorado Supreme Court ruled that this was an insurrection.
Will we get that?
But what does that mean? There was an insurrection.
Wait, I don't care. I'm not debating you. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this happen. So Nonfon, get some sleep. Glenn, do you want to make a concession or any last comments you want to address?
Yeah, all I'm gonna say. I'm sticking to what I said is that they made an opinion. That was it. That was their opinion. They didn't make a ruling.
What do you think the courts just write opinions for fun? Like this literally says per curiam, which isn't even, that's writing as the court. That's not an opinion. This says per curiam.
Exactly. And also, Glenn, let's assume you're right and that it is an opinion. In their opinion, they're saying the court did not err in deciding that it was an insurrection. That means they're referring it to another court that decided it was an insurrection, directly answering your question. Can you find a court that ruled it was an insurrection? Yes, we can. The court they're referencing in their, quote, opinion, which was not at all an opinion.
And I said that was upheld.
I don't think you said that, but also it wasn't overturned.
No, it wasn't
we already.
The Supreme Court of Colorado said they were not making a mistake. Also, again, for the millionth time, I'm citing also New Mexico. Why are you guys ignoring New Mexico?
Yeah, again.
Right now. Wait. Nonfon, look up for me right now. COU.
No, I sent it. I sent the link in chat to an archive link that removes the paywall.
So everyone in the audience right now, look up COUY Griffin insurrection. You're gonna find that the court in New Mexico said it was an insurrection.
I've spoken to this guy. What are you saying about? I've spoken with this man on my panel. Actually, it's funny you bring him up. Actually, that's random as fuck.
Awesome.
Like I've spoken with him on my panel.
I'm saying
that. One second. Sorry, I gotta mute you. Sorry, just because. I mean, I'd love to have this go all night, but I don't think we're gonna see a concession from Glenn tonight. That being said, we can continue this discussion another time, Nonfon. I love having you on the panel. Would love to have you again.
I'm down anytime. Yep, DM me.
For other debate topics. But yeah, I did feel bad that I had you here for 4 hours. So I do want to give you a chance to give some last comments and get the hell out of here, get some rest.
Yeah, sure. I'm Nonfon. I'm a liberal streamer. If you liked what you see, go over to my YouTube channel and subscribe so I can get 1,000 subscribers to be monetized. Or go to Nonfon420 on Twitch. MAGA lies as easily as they breathe. They won't engage with reality. It's insane that they're worse than toddlers. I can at least show a toddler hey, this is what Eastman said, and it doesn't take them 20 fucking minutes to admit that is what Eastman said. Or I can show them an opinion from a court and say, hey, the court said this, and they actually understand that's what the court said. It's insane. They don't engage with reality. They're fucking traitors. You should never. It's wild the state that we're fucking in. Vote for Kamala, and thanks. I appreciate being here.
Thanks, Nonfon. I'm sure we'll talk again.
Fun. I'd love to do if you want a 2v2 debate or something. I'd love to another debate with.
Oh yeah, Sample is my goat. I love Sample. You should have him here too sometimes. Yep.
That's right.
There's someone in the backstage. Shit. Come back if you want. I'll bring you up. But Nonfon, thanks for coming. We'll definitely have you back in the future, and we can definitely arrange some TV2s and some other debates in the future. So I'll talk to both of you, Sample and Nonfon, in the future.
Yes.
I'm not kicking you off, Sample. Just want to say that.
You're kicking me out, or what?
No, I'm not kicking off, but I'm going to give Nonfon. I'm going to finally kick you off now, assuming you want to leave, right?
Okay, yep. I have my thing over to leave button. Okay, thanks everyone. Appreciate it. Sub to my YouTube channel. Goodbye. Bye chat.
Later.
We are so fucked. It's insane to me. they lie as easy as they go to bed. It's not even like I mean I do have to sleep at some point, but like I also have to edit this. It's the same to me. People, what the fuck did I don't know what happened. Sleeping it's fucked. True. Like if you don't understand something, that's fine. Perfectly fine. Okay. There's two things. One, then don't have a strong opinion on it. If you don't know what comparative advantage is, if you don't know what a tariff is, if you don't know what opportunity cost is, don't comment on trade. Don't do it. Don't say, I support Trump's universal tariffs. If you don't know who John Eastman is, don't comment on January 6th. And then, if I ask you a question, one, fucking answer it. Thanks for coming. I hope it was not too painful. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was fun. I'll do anything again. Yeah. If you don't know who John Eastman is, don't talk about January 6th. And if I explain to you who John Eastman is, and I explain this is Eastman saying that he would violate the ECA, it should not take you an hour to concede to that. Okay. If I plainly show you something in text, it should not take you an hour to concede to that. Like, it's unreal. It's unreal. It's unreal. It's unbelievably dumb. Where'd the sound for this go? Did Nonfon win? I honestly don't like the issue. The first 101 debate, I feel like I did pretty well. The issue is just such a. I mean, I found out he doesn't know what comparative advantage is, so like it's hard to even like engage, especially when like it's like such a cringe like metric of like, can you demonstrate every single thing ever? And I cite him a study, and that's not enough. I cite him multiple studies actually, that's not enough. I explained to him exactly like how tariffs work, that's not enough either. I don't get it. If you want to chat with me live, sub here or go to Nonfon420 on Twitch or Kick via the links below. Once again, please like and sub to help with the algorithm, and consider sending a donation through YouTube Super Thanks to directly support me, and I'll make sure to reply to any question you ask. See you guys next time.